Welcome to Tough Conversations with David Wood, where play meets depth. We help teams and high-performing leaders like you to master your tough conversations so you succeed in your career and in your life. When we avoid tough conversations, we stay small. Teams stay disengaged, conflicted, and ultimately end up quitting. When we lean in and master our tough conversations, they become the defining moments that literally shape our careers, our relationships, and our lives. So let's dive in and master your next tough conversation so you can be the leader that you would follow. Let's play.
Who would I be calling? Who would I be speaking to? What would I be doing? What would I be publishing on social media? How would I show up?
Yeah. How would I feel? How would I feel in my day-to-day, life and business if I really had faith?
Welcome everyone to this round 2 of Lisa Cherney on the Tough Conversations with David Wood podcast. Lisa Cherney has been mentoring millionaire entrepreneurs for over 20 years. She's the host of the groundbreaking confession-based GFR podcast, which stands for Get Effin' Real, and creator of the 12 GFR commandments. In 2014, after 15 years in business and speaking on over 750 stages, 750 stages, Lisa got effing real and dismantled her successful 7-figure businesses as the juicy marketing expert. Lisa learned that just because something is successful and people like it doesn't mean you have to keep doing it. She always knew she had a low tolerance for not being happy. After all, she left a successful corporate career with companies like AT&T and Lipton at age 28. But now she knows her mission is to help soulful entrepreneurs, GFR, get effing real, so they can get out of their own way and help people and make more money. Lisa, welcome to the show.
Thanks. So happy to be back.
All right. And we're recording these back to back. So for us, it's only been seconds.
Oh, shoot. You just revealed our secret.
Yeah, that's right. And on the last episode, if you listeners, you want to go and find that, we talked about get effing real and how to really, firstly, become aware of who you are and the things that you're hiding and not sharing with the world. And then looking at, are you willing to share them with yourself in a journal, and then maybe with friends, maybe with your partner, and then maybe ultimately with potential clients and the world. So go and grab that episode and listen to it. And Lisa, this time we're going to talk about getting on your soapbox. And this is for anybody. Who's this for? Who's this episode for?
Anybody who wants to make a change in the world or impact people's lives, help them in a certain way. I call that your soapbox. And it's gotten a bad rap, so we're gonna give the soapbox a new PR positioning today.
Well, the reason I was interested in doing this episode with you is I'm kind of shy about my soapbox, and I'm one of the most outgoing. I speak a lot, and I'm a bit shy sometimes about, hey, I want to offer you a session. I think it'd make a difference for you. Or, hey, I want to coach you. And so I'm interested in that. Do you come across a lot of people who are shy about getting on their soapbox? What holds us back?
So what I'm hearing you say is that you're seeing your soapbox or sharing your soapbox, a key piece of it for you is to really offer your services or your gift directly to somebody. So that's, I think, a piece of the soapbox. And then, another piece, which I don't think you're shy about, which is why I was surprised where you were going with that, is just sharing your ideas and your thoughts and your philosophies and, your expertise. So I don't think you're shy about that, but I'm hearing you really acknowledge that, I share it, but I'm shy about really directly offering help to somebody.
Yeah, that's true. I will. If it's in a conversation, I'm not shy about sharing my ideas. I might check for permission. But when it comes to, hey, I think coaching will be awesome for you. Do you want to try it out? Or, even I'm a little bit shy in gifting sessions to people because there's part of me that's like, we might get to work together long term, and I want to hold open the possibility for that, but I don't want them to feel like I'm trying to sell them or it's awkward. So that whole thing, I feel like I'm not quite soapboxy enough.
Yeah. Well, this is great because I think it leads into something I've been recently talking about, kind of cutting edge of my thought leadership. It's something I'm calling unmentoring. And I believe that there's a generation of us entrepreneurs, mission-driven folks, passion, purpose-driven folks that really, got on the mentor bandwagon in a good way. Like for me in 2000, I hired 2009, I hired my first mentor. And that year I tripled my income. Like I can go on and on about how impactful that was for me because I didn't know how to get clients when I speak. And I didn't know how to sell. Like there were skills that I needed. And I feel like there's a lot of people that did the same. And then now I feel like there's a generation, I'm calling it the unmentored generation of mission-driven entrepreneurs that are not loving their business and they know, and they think that they need another mentor because that's what we know to do is to get that help. But nobody's resonating with us, which is frustrating and disillusioning. And we are not having fun. And so what I feel like I'm hearing from you, David, is like you're getting so caught up as we do in all the strategies and the process and the formulas and the blueprints that we learned about selling and speaking and making offers and doing all this stuff. And it really created a lot of static where we don't really know what our authentic expression of that is. And so for me now, I just did a unmentoring town meeting the other day. You can go to unmentoring.com to get the replay. And I didn't have a structure. Like I was like, you know what? I just want to talk about this stuff with people that want to talk about it. And I'll do some hot seats and coaching and, and I gave a URL if you want to know more, but it was like my way of making an offer and, I can't even say that word, the L word. It's like, I was just doing a campaign and I just sharing some thoughts and do I want to get clients? Yeah, it would be nice, but absolutely the perfect right ones. So it's not a quantity thing. And so there's a lot of unprogramming that has to happen, I think at some point when you're in that unmentoring phase, because you need to return to yourself, your own trust, your own compass, learning how to say no to things that don't feel good, clients that don't feel good. And it's like a whole nother approach to business, when we are kind of entering that new generation.
So I'm hearing that many of us have fallen out of love with our business and our message, perhaps, as we get caught up in the details. I've got to do this. I've got to do this outreach. I've got to call 20 people, right? It's a task. It's a thing to do. Someone suggested to me recently, feel good before you pick up the phone. Like feel good about it. Find a way to feel good about this call and having it. Don't do it as a thing to do. And you're suggesting that we need to unlearn some of these things and these structures that might be able to serve us. But if we're a slave to them, we've fallen out of love, and we could perhaps fall back into loving our business and loving our message and loving the impact that probably drove us in the first place.
Yes.
There's a reason I'm not a Wall Street banker. That's where I go to make money.
Yeah.
I become an investment banker and I'd probably be great at it, but I don't want to do that.
No. And the key distinction is when I believe when we're truly on a mission, like I will feel like my life was not fulfilled if I don't do this thing, right? If you're that person, this applies to you. I believe that our work, our expression of our mission is actually our healing journey, right? And I want people to listen to this in a different way. So I'm not saying you teach what you need to learn. It's not that. This is like the very act of walking out your mission and eyes wide open to all of the ways, the stuff that it brings up for you. When you really lean into that, it actually evolves the mission. So it's this kind of, infinity loop of your own personal healing and your work fueling each other. And that is a key distinction of unmentoring. It's not about getting over your fears or just following the blueprint or learning from someone else's success. It's like, no, okay, now I actually need to be my own best student. Of course, there's a GFR, Get Fucking Real commandment for that, which is make yourself your most important client. It is taking it to a true art form. And that's what I love to do now with people when I get to work more closely with them, is just like, oh, you're struggling? Let's see how your own work can help you here, and maybe how you even want to evolve your own work, to create a new solution for you that you then create for others, because that will evolve your work in the process and you.
How does this apply to people who have a job? Let's say they don't identify with, I've got a mission in the world to impact the world. Can people who, live in corporate land also get on their soapbox? How would that work?
I love that you asked that. And my husband, who happens to be upstairs from me right now, because he doesn't work on Fridays, works a 4-day work week, is in the biggest corporate of corporate America, a trillion dollar company. And he practices being on his soapbox, because if he can't be his authentic self in his work environment, his professional job, he feels like a part of him is dying. Like he just can't do it anymore. And he exited corporate and went back. And, when he went back, he's like, I'm doing this in a completely different way. I must say the things. I must call people out. I must, give the suggestions, even if they're crazy. So absolutely, I think that you can claim your soapbox, shout from the rooftop, and at least feel like when you put your head on the pillow at night that you attempted to make a difference. I think so many of us are sort of, we've kind of gotten it beaten out of us, and we've sort of are in a resignation mode. Nothing good comes from that.
Okay. So I was originally thinking this episode is about how to proudly jump on your soapbox. But now I'm realizing it's also about building your soapbox. So if you work for a job, you're in a job and you feel like you don't have a mission, you can create one.
Totally.
I'm going to impact people with authenticity every day. I'm going to have people feel cared for and like they matter. That could be it. You just pick any value and have your own personal mission, which is going to do good things for you, I believe, ultimately. I want to give a shout out to a couple of viewers just joined us. We got Bronwyn viewing from Australia, and we got Bridget from Boulder, Colorado. So
awesome.
Welcome. Can you give our listeners 3 practical steps for people who they feel like they have a soapbox? They're like, all right, I think this is my soapbox. I want to do this in the world. 3 tips that they can follow so that they can be more proudly sharing their values with the world.
Yes, and I always go to the GFR commandments because they're just so universally handy. So the one I think is most relevant to soapbox is number 6, which is have faith in yourself and your mission. And of course, and you could insert mission with where you are in corporate, your mission as a parent. I know I have a strong mission as a parent. And then the confession question that corresponds with that one is, what would I do differently if I had faith in myself and my mission? So step 1 is ask yourself this question. What would I do differently if I had faith in myself and in my mission? And, I have a community called the GFR Squad, and we do a call each month, and it's confession themed. Each month is confession. And when we got on the phone to talk about this one, or Zoom, I was surprised because I thought people would be like, oh, I would open up that store, and I would, and they were like, no, I would actually stop stressing so much and I would stop second guessing myself, and I would share more freely about what I'm doing, and I wouldn't worry about what people think. So it was interesting, what would I do differently if I had faith in myself and my mission could be just how you would show up differently if you truly had faith. And of course, I love Byron Katie, and it's so Byron Katie-like, right? It's like you try it on and really feel into what would I do differently if I was acting from a place of faith with my mission. And so, step 1 is to look at that from just how you would show up differently. And then step 2 would be, what actually would you maybe put out there or do in terms of a business, or maybe shift or change your business? Because y'all, I gave up a 7-figure business in 2014, and one of the best things I ever did. So I would say that step 1 and step 2, David, is to ask yourself that question from 2 different perspectives.
Yeah, I like that. How would I show up? Start opening new pathways in the brain. if I was doing this, fake it till you make it. And what would step 3 be? Is there a third tip?
Yeah, a third tip would be to ask yourself, what would I say? What would I say if I wasn't worried about what anybody thought, or that I would get in trouble, that I would turn anybody off? What would I say if I took off any filter? What would your soapbox sound like? And I've had my clients do this writing exercise, and it is magical. I don't know what happens. There's a gateway that opens up, and they just start saying all the things. And then we look at it, and we can pull stuff out for their marketing and their branding and their positioning and their campaigns, and they stand out, and they sound juicy, and they sound, unique, because it's just coming. That's our uniqueness, is just being really real. And so that's been super fascinating to me.
Okay, so what would it look like if I had faith in myself and my mission? Who would I be calling? Who would I be speaking to? What would I be doing? What would I be publishing on social media? How would I show up?
Yeah, how would I feel? How would I feel in my day-to-day, life and business if I really had faith?
Wow, so that just had me think of 2 days ago. I had goosebumps and tingles and felt warm in my whole body when a school principal asked me to come to her school and transform the culture of her 60 teachers.
Wow.
And help them lean into tough conversations so they can model it for each other, parents, and the kids. And we're talking about filming it so we can create a media piece to inspire schools around the world to do the same. And I was like, and she's all lit up and I'm lit up. So that's how I would feel, having faith in myself and my mission. And then I like, for people who can't see this and they're just listening, Lisa's nodding and she's smiling, big grin on her face, and we're both lit up here. And then next question, what would I say? How would I speak if I had no filters? And
yes.
I love that. I'm just running through my own life. Like, I try and be very, I'm transparent to the point that I'm willing to be transparent. And I am clear on, if I had zero filters, what I would say. And I've looked at it, because part of me is like, David, you should share everything with the world, and you should take the consequences of everything. And I've realized sometimes it's like, yeah, like a friend of mine said to me recently, David, you have a right to privacy. I'd never considered that. I get to choose. As we talked about in our last episode, you get to choose how far you're going to go. So just because you ask yourself the question, what would I say if I was completely unfiltered? It doesn't mean that you'll choose to go that far. I'm hoping you'll increase your unfilteredness by at least 30% out of listening to Lisa today.
I love that intention. Yes.
That's my hope. Increase it 30%. Doesn't mean you have to go the whole way.
Everything would just be so much more interesting. Like, people, and we have GFR Squad, and we confess the crap out of our lives. And it's just so interesting. People are so interesting. We're so varied and flawed and insecure and secure. And we won't even hide that. So I feel so blessed that, that I created this community and movement around me where people say shit. I really want to hear all the things. And I feel so honored when people even message me, David, and they're like, can I just share something with you? I need to confess it. I'm not ready to confess in our group yet. Can I just confess it to you? And I just feel so honored.
Beautiful. So Lisa, is there anything else you want our listeners to know about getting on your soapbox and sharing who you are and who your values are with the world before we tell them where they can find out about you?
I would say be mindful of the help that you choose to bring into your world. So if you feel like, oh my gosh, I am not owning my soapbox, I totally see how I could just blow the lid off it and, and say more of what I want and attract more of what I want. Awesome. And if your current life is, in your current business or job is not aligned with that, and it almost makes you feel like, I hate it even more now, I would say just breathe it in, take a breath, and really know that you're just entering a new phase, a new season. And I think, one of the principles of mentoring is that you're done trying to prove yourself, right? When we're in the mentoring phase, we're like, I need credibility and I need to, show I know my stuff. Just know that you're done proving yourself. You have arrived, you're done proving yourself, and now you get to decide how you're going to show up. And check out those GFR commandments at gfr.life/12C12C. So that's one place. And then go to gfr.life/unmentor, and you can get more information about that and see if that resonates with you, because people are finding a lot of relief in knowing, oh, good, I don't need another system. I need to actually find, just like get closer back to me.
Wow. I want to give a shout out to Michael Cooper, who's just joined, and David McElwain saying hi from Calgary. If you need a meditation room and meditation equipment like a cushion and a stool, then you want to go and go to Bali and Beyond.
Nice.
I think it's barleyandbeyond.com. So there's a plug to David McElwain. See, it pays to listen to this show.
It does. It does.
Something you just said really wowed me. Byron Katie has talked about letting go the need for approval, but I love this tweak on it, which is you're done. You're done proving yourself.
I have arrived.
You got this far. You have arrived. So there's another question we could ask ourselves. If I'm done proving myself, how would I show up in the world? So that's beautiful. Lisa Cherney, we have been getting effing real right here. Thank you so much for coming on the show.
You're welcome. This was a blast.
Woohoo!
You've been listening to Tough Conversations with David Wood. Now it's action time. Mastering your tough conversations will have a major impact on your team, your company, and you as a high-performing executive or entrepreneur. If you're ready, request a discovery session with me at playforreal.life so we can transform your team, your company, and you. And if you've enjoyed this episode, I would love you to help me spread this message of tough conversations in a very simple way. Just leave a public review at playforreal.life/podcast. And you may hear me read it out loud and thank you live on a future podcast. Now, let's play.